Back again at the Cheers Shop Bar in downtown Austin. Johnny, how are you?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
Doing well, man. I don't know much about you.
Uh, wow.
Those Wi-Fi sticks is what I call them. They'll do that to you.
Oh yeah. It's danger of the job. What do you call it? I used to work at a bar, Rustic Tap. Shout out to them. They had me at home for almost 4 years. Had a lot of fun out there.
Nice.
Then kind of got out and did my own little entrepreneurial thing, and got to travel the world a little bit for it.
Yeah.
And now I'm back home, and Miss Bonnie, our friend, invited me out here, and here I am.
Yeah. Shout out to Bonnie.
Shout out to Bonnie.
Yeah.
By the way, that intro music, fantastic.
Awesome. Thank you.
I feel like I was on Sway. I was like, "Where's Little Dicky?"
There's been most people love it. I've had a guest one time who decided to shit on it basically, but that's okay.
Why?
I think she was just being hateful that day.
Does she just not like stuff?
Is
Is that her job?
I think so.
Professional hater.
Yes.
Love it.
Sid, shout out to you. I hope you listen to this because you're the only one that hates that song.
I like that you hate things. I would love to meet you
Maybe one day we'll all have like a group session. It'd be good.
and just listen to all the hate.
Yeah. So Bonnie said you did a little acting. You've done some door guy stuff before, and then you got into some vending machine business.
Yeah, so like I said, started off at Rustic Tap, worked out there at the door and floor and little bar back, things like that. And that lasted about 3.5 years, but it was really cool because they knew from the get-go that acting was my passion, or it still is, but acting was my passion at the end too, and that they would let me off for auditions, they would let me off for this, that, or the other. Really lucked out when the first year I was working there, 2 films that I was in hit South by. And I made it to there. That was really cool.
Nice, man. Congratulations.
Yeah. Barack Obama loved it. It was one of his top 10 lists they're at here. That
Nice.
was really cool.
Yeah.
So they always, were really, really open to me being able to be an artist, to express my art, to do what I want to do, and let me off the time that I need to for that. And I was always really grateful for that. And then COVID hit, obviously, and everybody had to scramble and figure out their life. Whether it was, I like to sleep in all day, or I like to just not do anything, or, paint pictures, things like that. They found whatever they truly wanted.
Right.
And so I was just twiddling my thumbs. It was before anything, any news of the stimmy checks or anything like that, right? And I had $200 in my bank account. I was like, I got to do something with this, And so I started doing online sales, and eventually got to the point where I didn't actually need the stimmy check when it came. And so started going off on that on my own, eventually, after COVID was lifted, worked at the bar for a little bit longer, and then came, was like, hey, I'm going to go to school for this, for, digital marketing, and sell my own types of products online. And, they were really gracious about letting me do that. You're like, okay, if you got to go, but you're welcome back anytime type thing. It's like, thank you. I hope I never have to, but thank you. And so went and started doing that, and fast forward, I don't know, maybe about a year and a half, I get this opportunity to be kind of like a Twitch game show host, right? And originally I was supposed to go to Kazakhstan for this, because all the producers and people behind it were from Kazakhstan or Russia, but because of the certain restrictions they had because of COVID, it was still fairly new. They're like, we moved to Dubai, we want you to be over here, so I ended up living in Dubai for about 4 months, doing this, trying to help this get off the ground, and then doing a little bit of travel afterwards. Went to India, visited Japan for a little bit.
Yeah, just went to India and Japan. Just nothing. It seems like no big deal, right?
It's not. I'm truly grateful. Don't get me wrong.
That's amazing. I've never been to Japan. It's like number 1 on my list.
It was fun. But still COVID. So
yeah,
there was nothing you could see.
I gotcha.
But I still had some really good Wagyu.
Yeah. I didn't mean to cut you off there. It's just it just seemed very nonchalant. Like, yeah, India, went to Japan.
Okay, you know what? All right. India was amazing. Had a fantastic time over there. I loved the contrast between, because Dubai is probably one of the richest cities in the whole wide world. Then you go to India, which is one of the poorest countries in the world. And, don't get me wrong, I love Dubai. I loved all the stuff about it, but it just felt really, really fake, felt really artificial. especially the people themselves. There are just a lot of like, I have money and I know it type thing. Whereas you go to India, everybody's poor. So you could have fun for really cheap out there and still have an actual conversation and not have to worry about, oh, did I say something wrong? Or, hey, he's going to go around behind my back and tell something, you know?
Right.
And then Japan was a really short stay. It was like 2 days, 3 days. So it wasn't really a whole lot. But like I said, I couldn't see anything anyway.
Right.
You know? But then, yeah, I came back, and me and my best friend / business partner, we started a vending machine company called Silver Bandit Vending. You can just see it right here. Here's the logo right here if you want to see it.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and so what we do, we put vape vending machines in bars, and so the bars, they don't have to pay for anything at all, nothing go out of pocket. They just collect a check every month. So it's free money for them, easy money for us, and we can make sure that the bar staff, the bar patrons stay in the bar to keep drinking because they don't have to worry about leaving the bar to go find this. Because once, you worked at bars before, you know that once someone leaves that bar, chances of them coming back is not very high.
Right.
So we do that, and plus, they get some money from it. And by the way, for everybody that refers me to or my partner to a bar owner or bar manager, and we end up putting a machine inside that place, we'll give you $250. It's a bounty system, uncapped. Anyway, that's my plug.
Do you have a website for?
Yeah, it's silverbandits.com.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have like an Instagram as well or anything like that? Have you built one of those yet?
We're still building right now. We're trying to figure that out. It's just right now we wanted to focus on building the website, building stuff like that. And because we also not only do that service, but we also sell vending machines and arcade games, things like that as well. So.
Yeah, you do it all.
I'm trying. It's not easy. I'm not going to lie.
Well, I see the fire in you when you talk about it, so that's a good start, I think.
Appreciate it.
Yeah,
Appreciate it. I mean, I can see the same thing with you with this stuff. I really like it, by the way.
Thank you.
The
Thank you.
3-camera setup.
Yeah. Getting there little by little. I mean, I just started with one and then just keep expanding.
Yeah, you just reinvest right back into it, as you grow, as you get more, money that you don't have to put in, that feels really good.
Yeah.
But then you got to be mindful of like, I need to buy a new mic or I need to buy, a cord or whatever.
Yep.
New software. It's never ending of the expenses that you're going to put in to put out.
Yep. Or did I eat today?
Oh, man, I just had to scarf down a hot dog before I got here.
Yeah.
I just got done with a business meeting, and I was like, I'm going to be late. Sorry. I'm sorry.
No, man, you're fine. You're fine. It's all good. So we'll go back to Dubai for a second because we briefly touched on a story.
Yeah.
And that was in Dubai that this happened.
It was in Dubai. It was, I want to say it was like my 3rd or 4th day out there, right? And I had just met some of the, my Russian counterparts, the people that are doing the show, and also because it was a software, like a gaming software that they're trying to build, a lot of coding geeks. And they're all from, East, Asia, Eurasia, Russia, Kazakhstan. We had one Indonesian guy over there, but for the most part, the bulk of them were Russians and Kazakhs. And it's a lot of big language barrier over there, especially because they don't know a lot of English. I don't know a lot of, I learned a lot of cuss words in Russian, but I mean, when you're out of practice, you kind of forget them.
Yeah.
Anyway, so it was my first week there. I think like day 3 or day 4. I had just seen the Burj Khalifa, and I went back to the the hotel, and I'm settling in, take off my boots, and I get a knock on the my hotel door, and it's like a group of like 4 or 5 of them, the Russian guys, and they're like, "Oh, do you want to drink with us?" I'm like, "You know what? Yeah, why not? Why not?" So put on my cowboy hat, put the boots on, and we go to these beach bars and just proceed to just plastered, just absolutely obliterated. And luckily for me, they paid for that tab because I don't know how I could afford that. I just moved there. I don't know anything. I don't even know what the currency exchange rate was. Nothing, right? And the one stereotype that held up for them was Russians can drink, man. Russians drink a lot, and it's not just vodka. I thought it was just gonna be vodka, but they really like their Jameson.
Oh yeah, Jameson.
Yeah. I had no idea. They even asked, "Hey, do you drink Jack Daniels?" That's Asian. Or they're like, "Do you drink Jack Daniels?" I'm like, Yeah, I drink a little bit. Okay, we get one bottle. Cool. Oh, all right, cool. So, we're drinking, we're drinking, we're drinking. We end up going back to their, like communal hotels, like a 4-bedroom hotel, and they all stay over there, right? And, you know, I've been drinking, but like being working at a bar, that, just by working in those establishments, you tend to have a pretty high tolerance
Oh
just
yeah.
by osmosis, I guess, just
Yeah.
being around it all the time. Like even though you might be just totally fucked up, you can still have enough wits about you to know what's going on
Yeah.
pretty much all the time. And I guess the Russians either they got ahead of themselves or they had this plan all together from the get go. But we were back at the hotel, back in their rooms, little living room area, right? And we're drinking away, and I say something, and it was almost like the needle on a record just pop out. The guy goes and looks at me. He's like, "Oh, you want to fight?" I'm like, "What?" I was like, I thought he was joking. Oh, he was like, "You want to get your ass kicked?" Oh. I was like, okay, well, put down my little cowboy hat. Okay, let's do this. All right, let's go. And so, you know, then all the like the three other little Russian guys, they all get kind of like giddy. And so like, oh shit, this is an actual fight. And so, you have to get out that elevator, and it's like a 2-minute elevator ride because it was so far up there.
Yeah.
Down. And it's awkward as fuck, bro. It's just me and my cowboy hat. Once again, I love the cowboy hat. Travel all the world with it. And it's these three giddy ass fucking Russian dudes just talking all kinds of, whatever they're saying, a lot of sukovlats and, all that. And then this other guy just stone cold facing the front door, not saying nothing, right? And we get outside. The door guy greets us. The guy just keeps on walking. And I'm like, hey, hi. The little other guys like like fucking teenagers, right? We go out there and we can't fight in front of the place. Obviously, we have like Lambos and fucking Maseratis parked in the front. We can't do that. It'd be really cool. It'd be like Street Fighter type thing, but no. So we end up going behind the hotel to this little alleyway right there, and I thought it was gonna be a lot harder than what it was. But I fucking whooped his fucking ass up and down that little alleyway. He started to run a little bit, so I grabbed him from behind, and that's when the end of the fight was. When I slammed him down on the ground. And they're like, "Oh, fight's over. Johnny won. Johnny wins." And because, like I said, I had just got there. I probably was a little even jet lagged, right? I didn't know any of these guys. It comes to find out the guy that I body slammed, he was the guy that was filming me this whole time out there in Dubai for the 4 months I was out there as the production dude, so I'm pretty sure he got a lot of bad angles on purpose, but what do you call it? We ended up squashing that beef pretty quickly, probably like the next week or so after he, stopped bruising up. And, we ended up having a lot, really good time out there, and that was a wild little, started off a bar, ended up over there, but still it was a lot of fun.
Did you guys drink anymore together after that?
That pretty much ended that night. But
Okay.
no, we actually ended up going to, drinking a few times more, in smaller capacities. Just mostly at their house from then on.
Okay.
I don't think they ever actually went out with me again after that. I would go to these places all by myself and just travel around and just check stuff out. And they were like, "No, we stay home."
Damn.
And I'm like, oh, well, I guess I'm kind of shunned from it, but at the same time, like, I don't know who won in that, because, like, even though I won, I just kind of was, like, a little outcast of it,
Yeah.
But, like, at the same time, I was like, I get to beat my chest a little bit.
Yeah, because I feel like if it was the other way around, say he won, then they would have kept inviting you out, but he would have kept trying to think he can kick your ass every time, right? You would have been the laughing.
I would have been the lower totem pole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think it worked out in your favor in the long run.
In the long run, yeah. I'm never going to see him again.
Right.
4 months later, I'm never going to see him again, obviously.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, we did end up drinking a lot. We ended up going to see the fireworks from the Burj Khalifa on New Year's Day. So obviously the Burj Khalifa is the tallest building in the world, right? And for New Year's, they had fireworks just popping out of it, all the way up, all the way down,
Damn.
in synchronicity, and according to like some music and stuff like that too. And it was fantastic. We actually ended up getting stranded out there for about like 4 hours after that because there was so many people packed around it. All the trains were just congested. It was like an hour wait for each train. We ended up walking like 3 miles instead to find another station. Just as many people. Another little 2 miles, just as many people. And I'm over there in my cowboy boots. I didn't know. I thought I was gonna be walking on sand.
Damn.
It's all street right there.
They weren't comfortable cowboy boots, were they?
No, they weren't Lucchese's, not that high end, but they were Tony Lama's. So like dancing boots.
Okay.
Yeah, they weren't like, like cushion on the bottom. No, they're the hard, bottom, just made for dancing and things like that. I was just like, so
After this, I'm gonna have to show you a picture that someone sent me today, and it's some post about Tony Llamas, but they're mixed with a tennis shoe. It's the ugliest thing I've ever seen.
Like on the heel or on the front?
It's the whole shoe, and then the top is the cowboy part. It's weird.
It's like fuzzy on the bottom or something.
I'll just have to show you.
Okay.
But that reminded me of it, and it's weird. I got that picture today.
Kind of reminds me of like when you go to a nursing home and they have those tennis balls underneath the walker.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I envision.
Yeah, no, it's like an actual ugly ass tennis shoe, and then they like infused the cowboy. It's weird.
Is it so ugly it's cool looking or just ugly?
I think it's just ugly.
Okay, kind of like pugs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wouldn't wear them. Like if I lost a bet or it was like a joke, maybe, but we'd stay in the house probably.
I'm not going nowhere.
Yeah, I'm not going nowhere.
I'm taking my 24-hour punishment right here.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, cool.
Well, that's a pretty wild story, and the fact that you had to deal with them for another 4 months.
So, I mean, for the most part, it was really cool.
Yeah.
Like they were really cool about it. It was just they would probably like 3 degrees of separation.
Mm-hmm.
Just like, yeah, fuck the cowboy, fuck the Texas dude. The other guy, so the other 3 guys, they were younger. They're about 21, 22 years old. I'm 32. The other guy was about 35, 36 years old. So the definite age gap there is they definitely looked up to him for that type of stuff.
Yeah.
And like when you're 21 years old, when you're 22, when 23 years old, you think that you want to do all this stuff all the time.
Yeah.
You want to be a part of the fights or watch the fights to, at least be part of something of that type of stuff where it's like, testosterone or like masculinity is involved because that's what you think that's what the world is. And, you would probably know as you get older, you just start to not give a fuck as much about that,
Right.
But the couple of the younger ones, they still hung out with me. But like I said, arm's length, they're like, yeah, we're not drinking as much as that last time with you.
Yeah.
But
well, I'm sure they definitely looked up to the older guy, like you said, and then he got his ass beat. So it's kind of like you don't want to make that bad choice by drinking too much and then
picking a fight.
Yeah, because you do dumb shit when you drink,
Absolutely.
So
I mean, that's why bars are basically just kindergarten.
Yeah.
It's big ass daycare. Like Latchkey even says it. We're the biggest adult daycare there is.
Yep. They sure are. But shout out to Latchkey as well.
Shout out to Latchkey.
Definitely.
A lot of fun out there.
So out of all the places you've been, what would you say is, as far as the atmosphere goes, like the wildest place to have like things happen when people are drinking?
Spent about 6 weeks in Mexico.
Okay.
And we were out there. I was filming a TV show called Texas Rising, right? And there was basically a cowboy and Indians movie TV miniseries, right? And you can check that out on Amazon, by the way. Every time someone watches it, I get like 0.2 cents. So
watch it a bunch.
Watch it a bunch. Put on replay. Lower down the volume on mute and just fall asleep. I grew up farther down south in Texas anyway, like Corpus Christi area. So I'm used to, like a lot of Mexicanos, a lot of, chingazos, fucking motherfuckers, or even just a lot of machismo. I think that's the right word for it. Just a lot of people just pumped up, super male dominated type thing. But yeah, we were out there in Durango, Mexico I was there for about 6 weeks. The other actors have been there for months before that, and they were out there for months afterwards. I was a very small part. And remember one time we had went to me and one of the other actor friends of mine, we had like the day off or like the next 2 days off or something like that. So we can either go to the ranch and ride a bunch of horses and, get our ass fucking chapped, or we can go out and fucking drink. We chose to drink.
I'm going to drink.
Yeah. So we went out to this little Mezcaleria, right? And we're drinking over there, having a good few shots, some mezcal, tequila, cheap beers. Everything's really cheap out there. So it was a lot of fun. And so we're right there, and we see these two girls over there that just happen to be some production assistants. And I was like, I guess they got the day off too. So we walk over there, talk with them, buy them a couple of shots, things like that. And they're like, oh, you want to go to a party with us? Yeah, why not? So me and him, we jump into their car, which is like a smart car, like a smart car with an extended back, basically. Tiny little thing, looked like a little coffin on wheels, basically. And we're just cramped in the back, and the girls are, in the front, blaring Tejano music or Norteño music over them. Oh, yeah. And we're having this fun, we're just smiling and stuff like that, and we start driving, but then we keep on driving. And just keep on driving and like you see the city start to fade behind us, and the other guy, he's very, very pale white guy. He's like, "What's going on, dude?" I'm like, "I don't know, man. We're having a good time." And the girl's like, "No, it's okay. You're fine." And I was, you have a little tingle in the back of your neck type thing, but it wasn't enough for me to be like, "We gotta get the fuck back." 'Cause A, you don't want to look like a square. B, they're really pretty. And
that's the best reason right there.
Yeah. And so we kept on driving, and it starts to get into dirt roads. And there's no lights, just mountains in the backdrop, cows, and nothingness. Dirt road. And that's when I started being like, okay, well, we're already here. Yeah. And so, we're still chit-chatting and stuff like that. And we see these lights, and we end up coming across like all these dozens of cars, these trucks mostly. Right, and there's all these lights and stuff like that, and they're like, "Oh, this is the party." I'm like, "Okay, this is more like it." There's lights out. There's a bunch of people dancing in the foreground. We go over there, and she's like, "Okay, wait here. I'm gonna go get the host of the party." And the guy next to me again, he's like, immediately just starts to like, "Why does he need to do that? What's going on?" I'm like, stop. And so we. She comes back. She's like, "Oh, he wants to meet you guys. He knows about the show." I'm like, "Oh, cool." He comes up. He's like, "Oh, bienvenido. Welcome. The drinking, there's dancing, there's cocaína. Everything is for you. It's okay. It's okay. Okay." I'm like, "Okay, cool." So, we're going out there, and I can't dance to save my life, but when I'm drinking, I'll dance.
Right.
Especially, they ask you. Yeah. So I'm just dancing with some Latino women. He's having a good time too. He's starting to loosen up. And then probably like an hour and a half in, I'm dancing with this girl, and he just yanks me from me. He's like, "We got to go right now." And I'm like, "What the fuck are you doing? Why?" He's like, "No, bro, these guys are cartel." I'm like, "What are you fucking talking about?" It's like, no, bro, look on the ground. And I look on the ground, and it's these mud bricks, all in zigzag patterns, right? Just paved down. I'm like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" He's like, "No, read them." And so I read them, and it says, an acronym and a word for Mexican cartel out there. I'm not going to name the name of that. And I'm like, "No, that's like the bricklayer's name." It's like, "No, bro, we got to get the fuck out right now." And I'm like, no. I'm like, "You know what? I'm gonna go take care of this. I'll figure this out for you." And so I go, I find the host of the party, and I go up to him, and I'm like, "Hey, excuse me." And he can't speak English. I can't speak that much Spanish. He's like, "Oh, yes, hi." I was like, "Hey." He's like, "Yeah, you having a good time? Good time?" I'm like, yes, sí, muy bien, pero, ¿quieres, I start pointing down. He's like, "Oh, mis zapatas." And he had those big old cowboy boots with the pointed tip that go curve around. They were pretty cool, not gonna lie. But I was like, "Oh, muy bien, pero no. It's I start pointing down, like I had to like lean down and like touch the brick, right? And he was like, "Get this," and I'm like, "Well, then I say it's the name of the brick," which, and he's like, "Oh, da, 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 da." name of the cartel, and I'm like, "Oh shit!" And he starts yelling it, da da da, and every dude, and some of the girls just started yelling it too, da 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 da. And I'm just like, oh shit, this is real. I look at my white friend. He's like, this is fucking real. And I'm like, as soon as I turned to him and we locked eyes and we made that connection, we just start hearing gunshots, pop, 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 pop. Looking around, this guy has a gun firing in the air. This guy has a gun firing in the air, and I'm like, oh, fuck, we're gonna die right here. And so, I'm like, hey, thank you to the guy. And I ran to my white friend. I'm like, yeah, we gotta fucking go. He's like, I told you. And so we go, we discreetly find our friends that brought us there. And we're like, hey, we need to leave. And they're like, why? I was like, the fucking cartel. He's like, here. She's like, yeah, everybody's a fucking cartel over here. You can't leave though. And I'm like, why? She's like, if you leave, that'd be a sign of disrespect.
Right.
You have to stay. So
your buddy was freaking out after that, right?
Freaking the fuck out. So, but we end up staying. We end up loosening up a little bit. We don't get home till about like day o'clock the next morning.
Right.
Maybe even like midday even. Had a great time regardless. But, we're like, we're never hanging out with those girls again. All right. And I was like, yeah, that's fair. And then 2 days later, we're back going on set, and we're driving in one of the vans, the transpo vans, and I, get out, and lo and behold, all our security guards were the guys we saw at the party. They're like, "Hey, John!" I'm like, "Hey, what's up, dude?" And since then, they're like, "Hey, you can come back anytime you want. You can have as much fun as you want. Just let us know before you get here so we can plan ahead." I'm like, "That's a deal." I still got to take them up on the offer, but I definitely would go back again. Definitely would try it again. But to answer your question, that's one of the more wilder countries I've been in that I had a lot of fun in.
Yeah, no, that that's a good one right there for sure, man.
I haven't told that story in a long time, actually. Yeah,
it's cool how sometimes on a show like this, it's just something that kind of popped up for me to ask, and then it popped up for you, and I love when that shit happens, man.
That's one of the cool things. Is like, so. I mean, you probably had this, especially, if you ever like got high with any friends or like used to. I don't get high as much anymore, but I used to when I was younger. And you talk and have laughs and stuff like that. I'm like, man, we should have recorded that, bro. We could have done something really good with that, man.
Yeah.
But I mean, like when you actually have a recording, you do have some cool stuff every once in a while.
Definitely.
Yeah,
I agree, man. Well, I think we're gonna stop there. I would love to have you back to talk more about what you've experienced from the industry side of things as well.
Yeah.
So I think that would be super cool, but we'll save that one for another time if you're willing to come back on, man, because this has been great.
Yeah, I had a really good time. Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah, thank you.
And you have a direct line to me. Feel free to hit me up. If Bonnie wants to hit me up as well, maybe we could do something together, because I've known her for about 7-8 years now.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. We all need therapy. I'm kidding. I love Bonnie.
Yeah, she's great.
Yeah. No, that'll be super cool. I think we can all do that because she's been wanting to talk about some more door etiquette type stuff anyway. So
stuff you should and shouldn't do when you're inside the bar, like not pee on it, things like that.
People.
People.
Yeah. Well, Johnny, thank you so much, brother, and we will see you again soon.
Perfect. Sounds good.
Cheers.